Pharma Show. It's that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma. Used to get my piece from AZ. Mary Jane is the case that they gave me. Trips from the West Coast stop real fast. DC Pharma show the masses how to grow grass. No till the method, be attentive, slow learner. The raw sheets turn that gas to a slow burner. Big Worm got the strains in variety. Jeff Sessions trying to fuck up the society. Cannabis community, rise up, eyes up. Fight for your right to light or eye shut. Loud from the motherland. I'm getting high in stadium. Super gas, no clone, it grown with vibranium. Trichope chasers, council of the grower. Self-sufficiency, that's how we need our smokers. Alien dream, turn Girl Scouts into soldiers. Smoking doja. Contact if you come closer. Every Monday, 10 to 11 p.m. Focus on that grow, watch the show with your BM. Comedy, but interviews, real lit. The DC Pharma Show, educate real shit. The DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma Show. Is that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma Show. Is that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC.
What's going on, everybody? Big Worm coming to you here. So this video you're about to see is an exclusive video. It has not been uploaded yet. You're the first to see it on the DC Pharma Show. How to make your own Vortex 5-gallon bucket. Simple, easy. Here you go. Alright everybody, Big Worm here. So the first thing we have to do is we have to put a hole in the bottom of our bucket, and this right here is what they call a 1 inch slip to slip bulkhead, and this unscrews. Alright, it comes completely off. Got a nice rubber seal there. Alright, so this is a 1 inch, and the instructions with it suggested to drill a 1 3/4 inch hole. So that's what I have here, 1 3/4 inch hole saw bit. And we're just going to center this in the center of the bucket. So I'm going to give it a little in the forward direction, and then if you switch it to reverse, go ahead and cut that down. Through. And that helps it like not tear up as much, keeps some of this threading stuff outside the bucket, so it keeps the inside a little bit nicer. So that's the hardest part of this entire project. Really the hardest part is ordering this piece online, because I couldn't find it anywhere locally. So you got to get this on Amazon. I'm going to have the link in the description. So this is going into the bottom there. Alright. Screw this on. Get your threads going. Alright, just reach in here and hold this. Real easy to spin it down. Just hold it. You want to keep it centered. And you just tighten that right on there. Alright, and that is step 1. You have installed your drain. Alright, be back with you. Alright everybody, so for the 5-gallon Vortex brewer that we're giving away on the show tonight, I'm using an old repurposed milk crate. So you can use any type of base that you want. I saw some stuff at the Dollar Tree that I think would work, that would hold the weight okay. Also, you could very easily build a simple little base out of repurposed wood. Just make sure you use a sealant. So basically this just goes on here. So I'm going to turn this bucket upside down. I'm just going to set our base on here. And I went ahead and did some measurements so that everything would line up. So depending on your base, so you need this to come through here. All right, and then you're going to attach a 90-degree to it. I left a piece inside. Attach that right there. We're going to attach our 90. Okay, and these are, because it's not under pressure, you don't have to glue this, so this can come apart, you can clean it. I repurpose PVC, so I always have some PVC sitting around. So at this point, we can go ahead and just flip it over. Alright, that's going to give us a nice stand. Go ahead and put this piece on. Again, you need to measure this based on your stand and cut everything to shape using the PVC cutters. Alright, so you're just going to bring here your last piece. So again, you need 3 90s. Okay, I'm using 1-inch PVC. And then right here, I've got a 45 degree. And I'm not even sure this is imperative, but I think it just helps. So you put this on, and you're going to turn this to the side. So it's going to hit here and adjust this down. And what that's going to do is make a little spigot. Now, some of the designs cut up top for it. I am going to cut a top for the one I'm mailing out on the show. I personally wouldn't really use the top myself. When I did one of the, I haven't done a full compost tea in this, so maybe it would behoove that. But the alfalfa kelp tea that I did in here did not need any type of top. It didn't really splash or anything. So that really completes it. You have to hook up the air hose. I'm going to play with it for a second. The original design sends a drill hole right here, and you send the air hose through here. I want to see what happens if I just run the air line just down this. Because really all it's going down there, and I would say it was, a little seal issue here. So I want to see what happens if I just run that down. So I'm going to play with it for a second, and I'll let you know tonight on the show how everything turns out and which way I went with it. So hope y'all enjoy the rest of the show. Alright, Big Worm back here with you. So that worked pretty good. You just have to take this part off, feed it down to 90, and feed it through there. It worked perfect, no problem. See, we got the Vortex going. That's all there is to it. You can play with this, maybe to increase your Vortex. Okay. You can play with that to play with the Vortex. This is the 7,000, the 793 gallon per hour, 7,000 liter pump, and you'll see it online. That will be included with it. So the great thing about this is you don't have to clean anything. You don't have any air stones to clean. So it all just comes apart. Wash it out, sanitize it, put it back together, run your next run. Or just have this going all the time to oxygenate your water. All right, y'all. What's going on, everybody?
Stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the DC Pharma Show. My co-host, Big Worm, right here.
What's going on, Farmer?
Man, just chilling, man. Got a little elevated today before the show. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm a little on the high side tonight. Okay. But everything's going good, man. What's going on with you?
Awesome, man. Everybody got to check out the video I made today, so I wanted to do a little quick video to explain how you can build your own Vortex brewer. We will be giving away a Vortex brewer tonight on the show. Also, I threw some treats in there for an alfalfa kelp tea, which we're going to talk about. I threw you some treats in there for a compost tea, and we have some stuff for a seed sprout tea. So we're going to talk about all that. But we had a good day chilling, man. Smoked earlier. You know, I got DC Farmer dabbing out on the distilling a little bit. You know, he's starting to like these dabs a little bit.
But yeah, man, definitely. And y'all heard it, the giveaway, Vortex brewer with some teas ingredients in there that he made up himself. So make sure you put the number up there today. Jacob 202-618-9399. Make sure y'all call in today. I guess what you want? This your giveaway. So what you want the number to be today?
We'll do number 9.
Number 9. What's going on, Stoner? You want to hold it down for us tonight, Stoner? I got you. All right. So what we're gonna do is we got people in here already. So for y'all that been waiting and all that, go ahead and start calling in. Calling number 9. is the winner for the night. Stone is not going to win because he's going to be holding down the phone, y'all. So you do have a chance. Call in.
So we'll,
Here you go. He passing the phone.
So if you, even if you're not growing right now, you should be growing vegetables. So you can use this brewer for multiple things. But the first thing we're going to talk about is using it for what I call botanical tea. And that's this fancy saying. We're going to make a plant tea. We're going to feed the plants some plants. Jacob, can you throw that one picture up there for me? So we're going to throw a picture here, what's called dynamic accumulators. And if you just Google dynamic accumulators, you'll find this in Google Images. I love this one because they broke it down by the periodic table. So it talks about all these different plants and the nutrients that they give. If you need cow mag, you can look at, what's giving calcium, what's giving magnesium, that kind of thing. So when we're looking at giving a well-balanced tea, you can start really playing and tweaking with some of these things, especially if you're growing them yourself. You have some of these things available. But in the kit tonight, you're going to get the Kelp Alfalfa Tea. And, alfalfa, if you look at some of these old organic books, it's referred to as the kelp, of the land. It's loaded, loaded with trace elements. It's loaded with NPK. But the big thing, in my opinion, is tricantanol. And if you don't know tricantanol, it is a growth hormone, natural growth hormone. It helps shorten budding sites. Some people might even say that it's the magic ingredient Super Thrive. It's secret or whatever, but that's what people say is in that isolated tricantanol. By making this tea, you're going to release that into the water and make that plant hormone available, to the plant. You can drop that down, Jacob. Thank you.
And that's what I wanted to ask. And this is the botanical tea we talking on, right?
Right.
Now, what are people may want to know or whatever? What are the benefits that you seem to see? What do you think the benefits are of the botanical teas to the garden?
So we're definitely making that tea for nutrition.
Okay.
We're making it for hormones.
Okay.
We're making it, different things basically. But the main thing for that is definitely going to be we're going to get some NPK. We're going to get some micronutrients. And then we're going to feed it the goodies. In this case, we're using alfalfa and kelp.
Now on the botanical end again, right? Do we do that in flower, vegging, or does it matter?
So I use the kelp alfalfa tea. I'll do that early on. I'll feed that from day one, once a week, once every other week. You can rotate it, and then I drop it the first 2 weeks of flower. I know Mountain Organics, and I've seen Cannabis Coop. Mountain Organics just runs his botanical, but I know Cannabis Coop talk about running it all the way through the end. You're not really going to see any type of toxicity or anything from these botanical teas. You can, you cut them down. If you're worried about something like that, cut it in half. The benefits and the hormones are going to come. If you don't want that NPK, you can just cut it down. But then you could use different plants. You use some horsetail, if you want silica.
Now, a lot of these teas is going to be made in the Vortex brewer, I suppose, right?
Yeah, so the Vortex brewer is going to make all of these teas.
So what are your time requirements for some of these teas?
I think 24 hours.
24 hours.
And I will say that with the Vortex brewer, after 24 hours of the alfalfa kelp tea, you could smell the alfalfa in the water. It was a much more pungent smell of it really absorbing than I found, but just by bubbling it overnight.
Now, is it important to keep it at no more than 24 hours? Because do you run into a danger? Like some people may say that your content, whatever it may be that you're brewing, can turn into alcohol.
Right. So I think that's a good segue. So the alfalfa kelp, as long as you keep it aerated, it's going to be fine. Because you could actually do it an anaerobic process and just leave it with water.
Right.
So now when we move on to a compost tea, that's when that time is really important. If you're looking at, just from a general microbe man, a lot of his teas and stuff, he talks about 24 to 36 hour windows. And that has to do with the domination of life, right? So we don't want something taking over, one thing taking over. So that's where the time really matters, I think. The alcohol, I've seen some stuff talk about that with the seed sprout tea. If you bubble those over 4 hours, some oxidation occurs and it can mess up the tea. I don't even really bubble that long. The seed sprout I might put in there maybe 20 minutes. Let it get mixed up real good. You oxygenate it. You're not really, these are fats and stuff. You're not really brewing or breaking down anything. You know what I mean? You're giving them enzymes, which are chains. So it's not like something that's gonna multiply.
Okay. I don't mean to hold you up. I just had to ask the question.
No, man, that was a good segue.
Go ahead, keep moving on.
And
because that was just one particular. I guess that was botanical.
The botanical teas, and like you were talking about with the health, whatever plant you put in there.
Mm-hmm.
So say you put something in there that's higher in iron for you. A leafy green. That's going to break down into something that's higher in iron for the plant. So you can really custom mix. The other thing that I like to do is you can go right up here to the Blue Nile.
Yeah.
All right. They have a great selection of botanicals in there, really good staff. And ask them what's high in different things. And all the information's online, as well. And there's some superstars out there. So, so what nutrition you need, you can really find that. Putting the kelp in there. Kelp's one of the fastest growing plants in the world. Kelp's amazing. Add it to everything. You add kelp to everything.
Tell you.
Yeah. So the kelp's great. So the compost tea, what we got over there is we got a 2-part system. I'm actually giving them the last of what I've got of the Boogie Brew 2-part system. I added some worm castings to it, but they got if y'all check out the Boogie Brew site, they got some really good natural ingredients. They basically use to feed the tea in there.
Now, the compost tea, you would recommend what? Beginning, end, middle, veg, flowering?
Whenever you feel like you want to do something, if you're feeling itchy or you don't think something looks right, you know what I mean? I think you're always okay with doing a little compost tea.
I'm asking you, but me personally, because I've used compost tea before, but I like using compost tea when I just mixed a brand new batch of soil. So like as a Kickstarter, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely like using that compost tea. Me personally, I suggest using a compost tea as a Kickstarter. Or once you have that, your soil going and moving, maybe after each run or whatever the case may be, once you chop your harvest down and start a new run, hey, feed your soil again with some compost tea. But I don't really think, like, in my style of gardening, it's really necessary to use compost tea every week or once every week or whatever the case may be, because you're kind of overdoing it. Because in my style of gardening, I'm working with compost as it is already, which is like one of the most important layers to building my soil. So I don't want to run into the effect of overdoing anything. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with that. I think another good time can use it to top dress something.
Exactly.
If you're adding some to the top. I used the tea the other day when I put all that leaf matter on top, to help kickstart that life. Another good thing is you can, if you make a compost tea, dilute it down 10-1, it can be really good as a foliar spray.
Oh yeah.
Put that life on your plant leaves. Populate it with good life. Blues biodynamic compost. I'll do a foliar with that. Has some really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I believe that's just part of your IPM regimen, regardless. Anyways, and then that's another reason for making or using teas as well. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have some leftovers, so why not spray it on your plant? It's not gonna hurt your plant at all. You're not gonna burn your leaf. If anything, it's more effective than any negative effect that could have in your plant. So
yeah, I've never really had any negative effect. The only really thing, and that's not going to happen with this brewer, but if your tea ever smells funny, don't ever use anything in organics that smells bad.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. If it shit stink to you, man, don't use it, man. It's no good. Something went wrong. Somewhere something took an L. Don't use it. It's not supposed to stink.
Right.
It's not supposed to stink at all.
Absolutely. And the third type of tea, we call it a tea because we water it, but it's not a tea that needs to be brewed. And that's a seed sprout tea. We got some corn over there and some lentils. So Princess Pea turned me on to this. I haven't dug this far into it, but depending on the seed that you sprout, different dominant things are provided. So the corn is cytokines.
Yep.
I don't remember what the lentils are, but there's a whole list of beneficial things depending on the seeds that you sprout. And you're doing nothing but giving enzymes, and I'm pretty sure that should definitely be a once a weeker.
Once every other week.
Yeah.
And then now you're talking about my kind of tea. See, like, I do sea sprout teas, which malted barley, corn, blue corn, whatever the case may be. But that's the main thing that I really do in my garden, and I do it every other week.
Every other week.
Starting out, and that's another thing with the teas as well, that with anything in all these teas that you're growing and no-till, and just regular basic no-till, y'all, this is the only thing I'm speaking on, because this is what I can really tell you about. The longer your soil has been, the longer you've been using your soil for many cycles in your grow, you can slow down on teas and all the other inputs that you have going on.
Absolutely.
So by me saying that is, yes, these are the teas that I prefer to use, which are the corn, seed sprout teas and the malted barley and those kind of things. But even with that, you push back after so many cycles because your soil is already built for you. That's just on the no-till side, y'all. But I don't know about permaculture, how all that other stuff goes, or how you want to do those things. But with the teas, you tend to slow it down the older your soil is. Let's just put it that way. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't need to drive it that hard.
I think also, I completely agree that once you get those cycles going, that the dominant life in the soil has already decided at that point.
Exactly.
Things are happy. So, unless you're extremely good with a microscope and you're looking at your soil and you need to increase the ratio of fungus to bacteria and you're at that level, then you can play with it. But I agree 100% that after 3 or 4 cycles, if things are going good, you really should be watering only and foliaring. Stay out of the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the soil life alone at that point. And if you want to do a foliar, do a foliar. The Mountain Organics got the good seed sprout foliar, whatever foliar you want to do on your own.
But and what these teas are beneficial for on the organic side is to be aware, keep an eye on your garden. When you see things go awry, then that's when you start to apply some of these teas, depending on what you may feel the problem may be. But, it's a place for everything. You know what I'm saying? So some of you guys that like to grow in the bottle, like I said, you might feel like you're not doing so much. Trust me, in organics, there are things that you could do organically. You know what I'm saying? That help you grow that fire, man. You know what I'm saying? So, anything else you got going with this?
I think we done covered it. We do got some videos on the channel, Cannabis DC on YouTube.
And make sure y'all go check them out.
Talking about the different types of teas and whatnot. J-Rock won the giveaway.
Which giveaway? The night?
Yeah.
Hey, Stoney, you ain't even tell me, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, J-Rock.
Hey, look, y'all. Stoner didn't tell me. Obviously, Big Worm knew. J-Rock won the giveaway tonight, y'all. He won the Vortex, Brewer with the teas. So, hey, I know he gonna use it. So,
if there's anybody in the DC area that wants one, I'll order some more of those, gaskets or whatever. They're like $3. The deal is you don't need the tool. I'll cut you the bucket or whatever, for $20 if you want one. You just got to buy the air pump. That's really the money. The air pump is the most expensive part of the whole deal. And finding you a little stand that you like for it. Like I said, I think there's some ones at the dollar store. Some of those hamper baskets they got would probably hold it okay.
Look, this is what we're going to do tonight, y'all. Look, if y'all want one of these buckets, they don't cost much. Hit Big Worm's DM up. Blow him up, man. Blow him up on Cannabis DC on IG. Blow his DM up. Tell him you want a bucket. They don't cost much, man. Just tell him you want a bucket. I'm telling you, it'll be very beneficial to your garden. Whether you organic grower or synthetic grower, it's beneficial to your garden regardless. Because like we said, you could spray your flower with it, as a foliar feed. You know what I'm saying? So
at a minimum, you aerate your water really well before you feed with it.
Indeed. You know what I'm saying? You can mix your
nutrients right in there. I mean, technically, it don't have to mix organic. It would, You could put a little bit of advanced nutrients in there if you needed to and mix it up.
just make y'all sure y'all just blow his DM up. Even if to say what's up, say, hey, what's up, Big Worm? Just blow his DM up. That's all. That's what we want. Hey, but as I'm talking, congratulations to J Rock. The nice guest as I'm talking is, and I'm glad I'm so happy he came through because I always like having growers on the show. He came through.
They always bring gifts.
Not even that. I just like having other points of view from growing. Period. You know what I'm saying?
So
this
the
show
MO
is about
is
growing. I like having growers
Midnight
on,
oil.
telling us about how they grow. So tonight's guest is T9 the Flower on IG. T9 Flower, right? On IG. Now this dude won the 2017 DC Cup, Cannabis Cup, flowers, best flowers. He also won 2016, I believe it was hybrid.
Yeah, the DC Growers Cup.
The DC
best
Growers
hybrid.
Cup. Either way, man, this dude know what he's doing. He knows how to grow. He's giving you that fire. Man, I'm telling you, man.
God, that's that
He,
tangy.
he definitely came through with some blessings. He
So-
grew all this himself. The smells coming off of this is wonderful. I don't know his style of growing. I just know he's a winner. So I had to have him on my show, man. He know what
Thanks,
he's doing.
man.
Whichever way he growing, he know what he's doing. T9 Flowers is our guest tonight. And like I said, he's not gonna be on stage with us because I respect every grower's right, whether they want to show their face or not. Some people just don't feel comfortable yet. You know what I'm saying? I respect that. It took me a minute to get to where I'm at now. So we have him here. He is live in the studio. He's on the mic, y'all. T9 Flowers, thank you for coming through. Why don't you go ahead and tell the people about yourself?
Sure thing. Yeah, thanks, man. Both of
problem.
you, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. My name's Anthony Flowers. I run and own Tetri 9 Flowers. It's just a cannabis microgrow here, based in DC. Been here since just a couple months after Initiative 71 kicked in, and I'm just basically trying to establish my brand right now while we have this purgatory of laws. And while the big money's not able to come in, I want to establish my brand until it does, and then see what happens, because we all know it's going to happen.
Indeed.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah. They'd already cracked the door open, so we about to kick it wide open.
Yep.
And for all y'all watching, keep pushing. Keep on pushing, man. Don't sleep. Keep on pushing, because it's not going to stop, like T9 just said, man. And like I said, thank you for coming on tonight, man. What I want to say, I don't know, man. Like I said, you won Best Flower 2017, 2016. I know whatever's coming up for this year, you're going to enter it. So how did you get to this point? You know what I'm saying? And being a DC grower, that's just letting people know that fire could be grown out here. Like I said, how did you get to that point?
Well, I started growing in college way back in Arizona, over 10 years ago. Just a couple of years in college, and then I moved out to the East Coast and lived in New York City for 8 years and I didn't even fathom growing there because there's no time, it's super illegal and no space for it. But then I saw that y'all passed this law down here, and I just said, it's too perfect. So I moved down here, and like I said, April of 15, right after it kicked in, and almost haven't looked back. I looked back a little bit when Trump got elected.
Right.
Pretty much
Worry people
pretty much,
a little bit.
Yeah, I pretty much just took it all down, and just wanted to see how serious they were going to be about what they were saying. And it's been over a year; they haven't done a damn thing. I don't see them doing anything. So here I am.
Definitely, and big up to Mayor Bowser, man, that's you speaking on that, because she held her ground, man. She said, this is what the people in D.C. want, and this is what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? She definitely held her ground, so we still able. It's still a big gray area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be glad when we can finally go to retail and actually help the whole city out.
Right.
But, when we get there, we'll get there eventually, like you said, and like I
Right.
said, man, I'm just glad for Mary Bowser holding her ground and
Right.
us being able to do what we're doing
Totally,
now.
man. I'm totally happy. I feel incredibly lucky just to be able to enter contests like these, let alone win them. And
Exactly.
I just feel incredibly happy for what we have, and it's only going to get better. It's just again a matter of time. And
Now, I don't know. How did you get? I hate to be frank. I want to just say, how did you get the balls up to actually put your flowers in to the comp? Like I grow, okay. I like my grow. I like my smoke. I think I grow the best shit, whatever. That's anybody that grows their plant, right?
Yeah.
But when it actually goes to throwing it out there, you be like, I just don't know.
Yeah. No,
You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Honestly, just the response from people. My first harvest here in DC after taking 8 years off, the response was great. So I just said, why not? Worst case scenario, I don't win. And first contest I didn't. First contest I entered, I got third. And then DC State Fair, I got third. And I decided to grow. I attempted to grow the strain that beat me, the first place strain, which was golden strawberries. Right, but they were out of that, so I got golden lemons. Ended up winning with that. So
now,
which tested at ridiculous 30+%.
yeah, 35.1.
Damn, it tested at what?
35.1.
Shit,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then what strain was that?
Golden lemons.
Golden lemons.
Yeah.
Man, look, this is my first time even hearing about a plant testing that high, man. So I
Me
can
too.
see why you definitely won, man.
Me too, man. And I got one of the. I entered the absolute top colas, but I got one of the lower buds tested earlier, and it was 30.8.
Now,
So I knew I had something, but not 35.
Now, with that being said, and I know that a lot of people wondering, because I'm an organic guy. I don't hate on nobody's style of growing, so I wanted to ask, how did you get there? What's your style of growing?
I grew up on soil, basically ocean forest, purely, and then a couple years ago I switched to cocoa.
Okay.
And it's if you can master it, I think it's the best. I do 99% organic nutrients, but in cocoa. And I have to disagree with you. These nutrients smell like the worst thing you've ever smelled in your life, and this would just make it worse. But got to keep them mixed. But yeah, I actually did a study a couple years ago now. Feels like forever ago, between Botanical and just a new startup nutrient company called Renewable. Like I said, pretty much all organic, and expecting them to do basically the same. Renewable did 18% higher yield.
And all this is in a cocoa medium, right?
All in cocoa and all the same pheno of platinum cookies, actually.
That's cool,
Yeah.
man.
So, and I was actually before that I was kind of soured on organics because I just didn't see the point really. If the plant is going to see the nutrients the same whether they come from synthetic or whether they're coming from quote unquote natural source, but the proof is in the pudding. The yield is just
me personally. Like I said, I started out as a bottle grower. I didn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't believe it at first. And then I came to hey, let me try it. Fuck it, what I got to lose,
Right.
And then when I saw the results, I was like, oh. Then I started actually doing some of the concepts to it. So I'm like, okay, it's getting better. So that's how I got to where I'm at now. First like anyone else, I really didn't believe it. I bought into the marketing hypes of this bottle could do this could do that for you. You know what I'm saying? So This is what I thought it was supposed to be. So I started out at the bottle as well, and I just got into organics. And then when I got into organics, I started realizing that, man, it just took its own toll on me. Like it was a whole different monster. So I'm like, if you could grow a plant this way, you could actually change the way your diet is in your own body. You know what I'm saying? So like it just went a whole different way for me. So that's how I got into organics. Mm-hmm. But I reached out to you a few times. I said, man, this dude been winning these competitions. I gotta get him on the show. I gotta know what he does. What's your
Thanks, man.
What would you say your secret sauce is to growing?
Honestly, I think I just pick good strains. I think I just have good taste in weed, and I'm a decent enough grower. I'm smart enough to be able to just to coax these plants close enough to their fullest form that the genetics themselves will do the rest.
And my co-host, which I wanted him to take it from here, is he told me that you actually have your own strains. You have any questions about that?
Well, I mean, we're both curious and ready to do genetics. I recently saw a guy who was talking about he was pollinating a mom with multiple different pollens. What advice would you give to someone who's trying just to start and just wants to mess around?
Well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. unless you're keeping really, really close track of where on that mom you're pollinating her.
He was
you know
talking
what I mean?
about he was tagging branches. I think he was an advanced breeder or whatever.
Okay.
But so what advice do you give to people that are just starting to breed?
Just do it. If you've gotten your grow to the point where you're able to select female phenos and you have a good couple that you think are good breeding material, you just sort of have to do the same thing that you did with them, but in a little, in much more subtle ways with the males. I usually just pick males that grow fast, strong, rub their stems. If their stems really smell, usually they're pretty
So
potent.
what are you looking for in a keeper mom? So you're looking for fast growing, smelly stems and a dad.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you would want to smoke in a mom, you know what I mean, or grow, If you're looking for something easy to grow, it might not be the best smoke, or vice versa, A lot of people like freaky, long flowering sativas that are really difficult to grow and flower for like 16 weeks.
Right.
I'm not really that guy, but
Now, how would
and a
you
lot of people
tame
are.
those down, though? How would you okay, as a breeder, let's say I started with a land raised strain, which more than likely will be a sativa, more than likely, right? I mean, you have your indicas out there for sure, but most people get their hands on a sativa strain. How would you dial that back as a person trying to, start their own genetics, I suppose?
Dial back the flowering time.
Yeah, the flowering time on definitely the sativas in general.
Breed it with something that's really short. Something
So, like, with
really,
a heavy indica.
8 week on the dot indica, and then once you have the progeny from that, once you have the brothers and sisters from that, breed them to. You'll have a variety, and then you can pick if you want to go even further, close to the 8 week mark. Breed the progeny back to a female that looks like that.
Now, what would you say would be a comfortable term? Okay, so you have your own you have your own strain, right? And you feel comfortable letting that strain out. Like, let's say I wanted to buy some of your strains, right? You feel comfortable at this point now. Now, how long did it take you to get to that point for you to feel comfortable?
You mean by the seeds?
Yeah, by the seeds.
Okay. I've gone through several F1 hybrids, but haven't really taken it past that point to stabilize them, to actually be able to sell seeds beyond just an F1. But F1s are they're somewhat valuable in that they're usually about 25% stronger, grow about 25% faster, about 25% higher yield. The potency I don't think is necessarily that much better, but they're just stronger plants because, especially if you breed something really on the indica spectrum with something really on the sativa spectrum, it's going to have that hybrid vigor sort of thing.
So those F1s are the first generation coming from that mom and dad.
Yeah.
So if a breeder's producing that, every time they breed that mom and dad, they're producing F1 seeds.
Right.
And then those are producing a certain amount of phenos that you're likely to get from those seeds.
Right.
But then to stabilize that, you're saying that we're going to pick some of those that we like, and we're going to breed those together, and then pick those again and breed those.
Yeah.
So like I've seen some of these like a blueberry F7 or F.
Right.
They've been doing it for a really long time at that point.
The F numbers is just the generation.
Right.
So F1 is the first generation, and then F2 is supposed to be the brothers and sisters. It's inbreeding.
It's
more or
inbreeding,
less, you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
And some of them are back cross, like the cookies samples that I gave you guys are a cookies back cross from BC Bud Depot. Basically, they have, I think it's forum cut cookies, and they crossed it with animal cookies or something else, and then took the seeds from that, got a male from that, and bred it back to the cookie's mom. So basically, son had sex with mom in order to back cross it because they want to just keep the cookies traits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't want the animal cookies. They want the cookies. So it's a matter of doing that over and over again. And I really haven't gotten to. I'm going to with this strain that I have now, which is a cross of Sage and Sour and Night Nurse. I'm calling Midnight Oil, and Sage and Sour is like 75% sativa, so it's not like really long flowering, anything crazy like that. But the Night Nurse was 100% indica. So, and they came out great. The F1s are awesome.
Now, I don't
Really
want to like, I guess jump the gun or anything or speak out of turn, but I don't think it's too many breeders in DC actually breeding.
And I honestly wouldn't call myself a breeder quite yet because I haven't fully
Right.
stabilized a strain. I make crosses. I'm a crosser. Or whatever,
okay.
You know? I think pollen chucker is the offensive term.
So is that how you actually do it? You like spreading pollen on your plants?
Basically, yeah. I have a separate tent that I'd use just for breeding. And for the Midnight Oil, I put just female night nurse and a male sage and sour that I felt was good and strong.
Right.
And I just put them alone in a tent, small tent together, let them flower, and it made like 600 seeds from a 2 foot tall, two 2 foot tall plants.
Wow.
Yeah, and if it just let them do that, they'll do it.
Okay, and then that's pretty much how you start your process, then, right?
Yeah, and you don't even that's the only time I've actually done that. And it's actually fairly extreme. Most people just take a male, flower him on his own, collect the pollen from him, put it in a little bag, seal it up, and you have to make sure it stays dry, otherwise the pollen will go bad. But you just wait till like 4th or 5th week in flowering for the females. There's enough pistils, but not not to where they're actually starting to mature and die.
It's where they're standing up straight face.
Right. They're still white and still producing pistils, still producing calyxes, and then just I just dip my finger in a bag of pollen and just touch them. That's all you have to really do.
That's
and you'll get 40 or 50 out of that. Just pollinate one branch, but just keep track of that branch.
Shouldn't have cut all those males.
They're useful, man. They really are.
Well, I had 5 seeds and I put them all in one container. I was just gonna run them, and when I was gonna cut some of the males. I was gonna breed, but then I didn't. But it ended up 4 males out of 5. It was pretty bad luck.
That's tough. And with the plant count limit here, it makes it really tough to do anything serious. You know what I'm saying? I have 1 male or 2 at a time and collect as much pollen as I possibly can.
Yeah, I'm guilty of just. I probably killed so many powerful genetics in my time. 'Cause I see a male, I just kill him off. Like, I don't want that right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the time, I wasn't growing for breeding or anything. I was just looking. I was pretty much pheno hunting, looking for that fire, like, that plant that stood out. And I still do that to this day, but I do want to get into pheno hunting, but I kind of want to start from ground zero. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for all land raises. You know what I'm saying? But I know starting from that point, I'm setting myself back even further. Because like you said, sativas, man, they take forever to fucking flower out. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be patient and to actually... Well, if this is what you want to do, as far as breeding, like really looking for that wonderful strain, you have to have a space for it, which is kind of hard out here in DC. Yeah. Given our plant count and all that shit. But
totally.
You know what I'm saying?
And you're totally right about it being hard to keep up. You guys are on Instagram. You see what's going on the West Coast.
Man.
There's just nonstop new strains all the time. Gelato number 3065. And it's not sativa. It's all indica. It's going more indica.
Yeah, Kyle Cushman was talking about doing a 10,000 plant pheno hunt. Yeah, right.
So one day, I'm sure, outdoor. But.
Right. So my thing is, if you're popping these seeds, how soon do you feel like whether you're going to keep them? Do you got to run through flower?
Oh man,
how do you?
That's a really good question.
That's a good question.
It's a really good question. Up until a couple months ago, I would have said a couple weeks before harvest. You can kind of tell their personalities. But now it's like I want to wait till they're 10-week cured, till because you really don't know all the different flavors that come out and shit to the end. It really doesn't express itself until it's done.
You want to actually get to the finished product.
And I can't. It's too. Right. It's not practical.
So can we talk about that for a second? You want to talk about your end game? Your harvest cure process, what you like to do? Because obviously this is amazing smelling cannabis up here.
I'm not even exaggerating. I like the labeling and all that. Can you zoom in on that, Jacob? But to be honest with you, man. Guys, I'm not even lying to you. Like I said, I don't know this guy's style of growing or whatever, but every single one of these jars smell different, and they smell good. And I'm telling you, they smell good.
Different is that's a really important one, and I think the reason everyone always tells me that, oh, your shit smells different. All your strains smell different. Why is that? I'm like, why wouldn't they? They're all different strains.
Exactly.
And I think the reason is a lot of people use finishing products. A lot of people use bud candy and like stuff like that makes them smell and taste good. Don't get me wrong, it smells and tastes good, but it all smells kind of tastes the same. Like the strain is trying to express itself through that bud candy sweetness, and you're kind of stopping it from doing that.
And I swear I said the same thing so many. Like I told y'all people, I don't know this dude from Adam and Eve, but I said that so many times before. I just feel like when you use those kind of products, it makes different strains taste the same.
Yep.
So that's just my feeling on it. But literally, these jars, man, I opened every single one of them, and it's one in particular that I liked it. I thought it smelled very citrusy and fruity like. we thought it was the lemon haze, but it ended up being our cookie. Was it a cookie?
The cookie's back cross.
Cookie's back cross, y'all. And I'm telling you, it has this subtle fruity smell, man. And I can't wait to crack this motherfucker in the blunt, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm trying to get, like, I grow and I do grow good. I don't toot my own horn though, but I want to get to this level of growing. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what craft growing is about. You see what I'm saying? And this is what the industry, this cannabis industry, this is how you're gonna survive it. Being able to grow craft weed, craft cannabis, because like I said before,
Your mouth to God's ears, man.
yeah, like I said before, the commercial industry is coming and it's coming hard. But they're not going to be able to grow shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Definitely not going to be able to grow shit like this. So that's why I like having growers on my show. To hopefully, if people paying attention, you might could catch on to some tips and tricks. You know what I'm saying? If you're taking notes, if you're not taking notes, if you're listening. You know what I'm saying? I am an organic grower, but other people grow different. And they've been doing it for a while different. And they have tricks and trades to this, man, that might help. However grow.
Yeah, I mean, if no-till didn't speak to my lifestyle, you know what I mean? I definitely think that, a hempy bucket or some other style of cocoa with good nutrients, you can definitely inoculate with any inoculant you want. You know, it is organic matter. It will hold. It is optimal water holding, so you can pump it with what you want to pump it with. I do think it's, obviously a good style, growing here. Yeah,
definitely.
The no-till is just
simple.
It's just sustainable. It speaks to other things, it's it's a style, you know what I mean? It's just a different style. But I would love to hear about the cure. So what?
Oh yeah, you did.
Hook us up. What's your style? What's your harvest style?
I guess my cure style is weird. I use the refrigerator a lot.
All right, please do. And
yeah, see that's the face everybody makes. I love it. That's how I learned how to do it. Because especially around here, the fridge is the shit. Because especially in summer when you can't find a dry place, especially if you live in a basement apartment.
Yeah, the humidity kicks ass out here, man.
When you're trying to dry, it's like mold is ridiculous.
When it's hot out here, y'all, what he's talking about, man. When it's hot in DC, man, it's not only hot, but it's humid with this heat. So it's like you just getting stepped on top of the heat, man. It's ridiculous out here, man.
Yep. And the mold comes with that. So just having it in the cold refrigerator is a ward against mold. Doesn't stop it completely, never stop it completely, but it's a ward against it.
This is my first time actually hearing this, man. Like actually you curing using the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. And when it gets a little too wet, I put it out on plates and put it in the fridge because it's so dry in there. They just got to close it, leave it in the fridge for, half hour, an hour, go check, see how dry it is. But yeah, my harvest change depends on the season.
Depends on the season.
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing it in this way, how long does it go for? Like, how long are you curing for?
I mean, I guess the peak cure I've found it kind of depends on the strain. But like 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months.
Peak minimum a month I've found.
And it's something you definitely got to keep your eye on throughout that 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, definitely.
I organize my life around it. You can't can't leave.
I feel that it's important. Even I told my co-hosts sometime as well, man. Even with myself, curing is so important to the growing process. Like, I know, even me, man. Like, you get to that final boom harvest time, you cure for 2 weeks. It's ready to go, man. It's ready to smoke. It is. Technically, it is. No harm, no foul on that. But I guarantee you, that same plant, that same strain, you let it go for a few more months, the smoke will be so much better.
Twice as good, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it just
definitely.
gets better. The smell changes every day.
Definitely. So, you could definitely cure, I guess, in, 2 weeks?
Minimum.
I
would say minimum a month. But
minimum
until the moisture of the buds is stable. I think that's the minimum.
Okay.
And then you reach different stages to where I found that, the individual buds will smell, not just the jar of them. And, the smell itself will just become much more potent and sort of change a little.
So are you doing a wet trim or a dry trim?
I do dry trim in summer when it's wet. I just almost whole plant dry. And then wet trim in winter, just because trying to keep the dry time just under a week. I like, and it's just trying to keep the buds as stable, the moisture of them as stable as possible.
Okay, so you definitely try to keep it to that 7-day format.
Yeah, I don't want to go any longer than that, especially here because it's so wet, especially in summer. Just the mold.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you definitely. Me, I more so break my back to try to get what would I say, and then to try to dial that environment in my room. But what comes with that is building. We have 2 minutes. Oh, wow. What comes with that is building. So, like, your style definitely makes sense. Like I said, and this is my first time actually hearing about refrigerating and curing and all that. But when actually, when it comes time to harvest, I spend so much time and money dialing that room, man, because I know it has to be perfect to get the perfect flower. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if you want that 50 to 60 degree humidity and temperature in it, in DC, I'm just talking about in DC personally, it's hard to get that. It's definitely hard to get that because the temperature of today could be fucking 75 degrees. Tomorrow it would be 35 degrees. It's just like that. You know what I'm saying? So I found that in building up whatever room you have, and it could be very expensive in DC. You know what I'm saying? Because the weather changes so rapidly out here. I found that the way of doing it, but I found it very interesting hearing your point of view today, not really realizing that you could utilize the refrigerator, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the only thing I've found that's dry enough. If it gets too wet, I don't know what to do.
Well, with that being said, like I said, I love having growers on. This is why time slipped away with us. It seemed like we running out of time. T9, why don't you tell the people how they can reach you on social media and whatever you got coming up? And are there any DC cannabis cups or anything coming up that you might be entering?
I do believe the annual DC Growers Cup is happening in May. That I'll likely be entering. I'll probably enter the Breeders' Cup portion of that this time for the first time. That'll be nice. But yeah, my Instagram is just at T9Flowers. Get me on Facebook, Anthony Flowers. And yeah, that's really about it for now. I'm going to be looking for vending opportunities soon, or gifting opportunities, excuse me. And yeah, just look for me at other cannabis events. Certainly the Cannabis coming up on, was it 19th? Yeah.
21st.
Well, definitely, man. Look, keep your eye open for T9, and if you lucky to run into any of his gear, get it. Buy it. If he's vending, flood his table. Local. Support your local growers. I'm telling you. If you see this guy at any vending venue, y'all should be flooding his table, man, because this shit smells fucking delicious, man. I wouldn't even dare press this shit. I'm smoking this, man. So
that's a compliment.
Yeah, no bullshit, man. So if you are vending, y'all make sure y'all flood his table and check him out, man. He's a winner for a reason. So with that being said, I want to shout out DC Scrogger. He's got an event coming up, I believe, April the 4th. Bring your own bucket.
Bring your own bucket.
Bring your own bucket because he's doing the soil mix, and y'all don't want to miss out on that. So thank you again, T9 Flowers, for coming through and blessing the people with some of your tips of growing style and everything. And thank the chat and everybody on live for coming through, and see y'all next week.
Peace,
Thanks
everybody.
for tuning
Grow
in.
my own shit. Is that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma. DC Pharma Show. Is that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma. Chai! Used to get my piece from AZ. Mary Jane is the case that they gave me. Trips from the West Coast stop real fast. DC Pharma show the masses how to grow grass. No till the method, be attentive, slow learner. The raw sheets turn that gas to a slow burner. Big Worm got the strains in variety. Jeff Sessions trying to fuck up the society. Cannabis community, rise up, eyes up. Fight for your right to light or eye shut. Loud from from the motherland. I'm getting high in stadium. Super gas, no clone, it grown with vibranium. Trichome chasers, council of the grower. Self-sufficiency, that's how we need our smokers. Alien dream turn Girl Scouts into soldiers. Smoking doja. Contact if you come closer. Every Monday, 10 to 11 p.m. Focus on that grow, watch the show with your BM. Comedy, but interviews, real lit. The DC Pharma Show, educate real shit. The DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma Show. Is that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma Show. Is that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma Show. Is that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma, that DC Pharma Show.